Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shibani Gharat. Interio by Godrej, which is a part of the Godrej Enterprises Group, has unveiled a refreshed brand identity that aims to shape experiences in modern Indian living. The transformation is anchored in a sharper focus on design-led innovation, a revamped retail experience, and a future-ready product portfolio. The rebrand builds on the repositioning strategy of Godrej Enterprises Group announced last year, reaffirming design, digital and innovation as the cornerstones of growth. To tell us more about this refresh and what excites her as the leader of GEG, we are joined in by Nyrika Holkar, Executive Director, Godrej Enterprises Group. Nyrika, welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thank you, Shibani, for having me.
It's been a year since the Godrej Enterprise Group underwent like this whole rebranding exercise, and I think we are meeting almost after a year after the rebranding exercise. I'm going to speak to you about Interio, but first, Nyrika, what is the change that you have seen internally and externally amongst the consumers? How has the perception of Godrej changed in the consumer eye over the past 1 year?
If one has to maybe look at the internal momentum towards what we had set out to, that I think is palpable, and you can, feel that there is much more focus towards, product design, innovation, customer experience, looking at it holistically, measuring it, and hopefully that should translate into a change in perception on the ground. But maybe 1 year might be too short of a period to, quantitatively measure it. But I think in terms of service calls, service resolutions of, customer issues, that is on an upward trajectory. So that is something which gives us confidence.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, just being focused on execution is really the crucial factor here.
We had also spoken about, the consumer business and, the potential for growth. And speaking about that, Interio is undergoing a revamp, a brand refresh, a revamp. So tell us more about it.
So Interio will be effectively our first proof point of the repositioning. And the idea was really to look across the board. So we started with really doing a detailed customer research to understand how people use their homes. And that project was a year and a half, pan-India, and gave us a lot of really crucial insights. And that kind of formed the basis for a lot of our work. So in terms of, a perception that we are slightly overpriced, I think so a lot of work, and this predated even the consumer research, but a lot of work done on value engineering. So how do we, make sure that the price value equation is right? So a lot of great work done by the team to kind of right size, especially for entry level products. And then on, on the premiumization side, we're also looking at, platforms for configurability, because today from the customer research, a lot of insights into, people want to personalize their space. They want solutions which can fit their space. So how do we do customization at scale? And how do we build in models, platforms that allow for configurability? So UpMods is one of our sofa platforms, where you have more than 1,200 configurations.
Wow.
And it can help you to, whether you want a 3-seater, a 2-seater, a L-shaped, it can help you, empower you to configure your own space. So I think that's the beauty of some of these models. And also the fact that, we have design, engineering, manufacturing, sales, service, everything within the fold. It allows us to, have a greater visibility over execution at all these levels and integrating it.
Sure. So giving more value for the entry-level purchases and more personalization to the premium side of business is what you're attempting with this refresh. But how do you do this exercise pan-India? Because homes pan-India are not the same. Like in Mumbai, for example, we have matchbox kind of homes and tremendous amount of space in a city, let's say like a Bangalore. Even within urban pockets, like, you know, there is so much difference in the way in which we live.
Correct. No, and I think that is very important, because India really is a collection of, in a sense, different countries, because everything is different. But there are some similarities. So I think we've sort of looked at what are the regional differences. So even in our approach to stores, the curation of furniture within that store will have a regional flavor. But from our customer research, the one interesting insight that I didn't also expect was that there was actually there were things which were uniform across India as well, in terms
Such
of,
as?
Some element of, what people feel in terms of comfort, in terms of, maybe there might be a difference in terms of color preferences and, ornate versus, something a little bit more subtle, clean lines, etc. So there may be differences in preferences. So we address that through collections.
You know, all of us have had a Godrej Almirah in our home. So how do you ensure that the generations to come will also, get to experience that Godrej Almirah in their homes, that they choose to have it in their houses?
Concept of the Almirah is very tied to the material. So when one thinks about the Almirah, one thinks about steel. And as we have evolved in looking at consumer needs, looking at how homes have evolved, looking at now, because everything is available, on our smartphones, we have access to a lot of, different design influences and global influences as well as local. So how do we really offer that to the customer? And so our evolution of the cupboard has also evolved now into wood, into, other finishes, different colors, so that it can, and again, this whole idea of configurability. You have one piece, maybe you want to add to it over the years, you have the ability to add to it with the platform of configurability. You can use a color of your preference. Much improvements have been done in terms of finishes, in terms of color, which allows one to have a sense of personalization. And you also mentioned about, the blue Almirah matching your
Yes.
Blue windows. And I think that's a great story, because that is, in a sense, giving you the creative freedom to, express a sensibility in the way that you want to. Yeah. And we helped in a small way.
Absolutely, you did. And, last time we spoke, you mentioned about how you want to, the idea is to break the silos in which all of your data, the consumer data, exists today. So many insights through your consumer businesses, the data remains in silos, and you want to break those walls down. How have you effectively done that over the past 1 year? And what are some of the striking insights that have emerged out of, this exercise?
Yeah. So I think this whole idea of creating a single customer record, because, even today, if we look at mobile numbers are changing. People use temporary mobile numbers, or if there's an issue with something, either you will call or your mother will call. So how we save the data, how we, classify it, and also between businesses, because earlier each of our businesses had a different way of, saving their customer data. So now, with everything integrated into one single record, it really helps us not only to understand the customer needs better, but it also helps us to understand, how we can help in, the future journey of the customer. And I think that is very powerful, because it can And then here we are looking across our consumer businesses. So whether it's appliances or whether it's security or whether it's Interio looking at furniture, it has to do with the home. So how do we enable you to have a better experience in your home? And we can do it more holistically through, the modality of a customer record, because that helps to, in a sense, break down silos between these businesses, which are very different, operate very differently. But how do we have a single customer view? And I think that's been quite powerful.
You had also mentioned that, the whole GEG business is, grouped into consumer-centric, nation-first and future-focused buckets. Where do you see, the largest headroom for growth for Godrej going forward?
So I think the largest headroom probably would be in our nation-building businesses. Today, if we have to look at it, obviously consumer businesses have the lion's share in terms of turnover.
60%,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, that's right. Yeah.
But today, with, on the back of government policies, on the back of also opening up R&D, and also with so much geopolitical uncertainty and, looking to strengthen India's own positioning, I think there's a lot of opportunity there for us to be doing much more from a technology platform perspective, from a build to spec and design perspective, and to really become a strategic partner even for foreign OEMs. So I think there is a huge opportunity for growth amongst our nation building businesses. And I think because we've had so many years of close associations with partnerships with ISRO, DRDO, as well as in-depth training and honing of expertise, I think our team is very poised to be able to capture that.
Yeah. And also speak about your global ambition, both when it comes to the nation-first businesses and the consumer-centric businesses. How do you take the legacy of brand Godrej to global markets?
Yeah. So I think today, if one has to look at it, India is really the focus, because there's so much opportunity in India and so much for us still to do. So for us, India remains a key focus area. But today, even if we have to look at Interio, we have manufacturing facilities in Oman, in Vietnam. And we also, today, from the office furniture perspective, we export. So whether it's to certain key accounts or certain geographies. So in the future, we can easily expand that to home as well. But today we are really focusing on the opportunities in India, because we believe that there is a lot to be proud of. There's a lot of excitement in terms of where we are today, and a lot to do to also ensure that our economy is robust.
Sure. Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for this wonderful chat.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Time for a short break. On the other side, we have final segment of Decoding B2B Marketing, that means business, co-powered by LinkedIn.